today's project is replacing the stock steering stabilizer with the Fox Shocks aftermarket one. Quite a bit more substantial, as you can see. It has the extra reservoir for the fluid. I already got the bracket halfway on, but need to take off the bracket on the truck first before I can get it put on. But I've already taken out the 18 millimeter that was here attached with the carriage bolt, and the 18 millimeter that was here attached with the flag nut. Taking the stock one off and putting the other one on. Problem I'm having is you also have to take this brace off, and there's two 13 millimeter bolts right here, and the track bar is in the way, so we have to loosen the track bar. There's a couple ways you can do it. You can loosen on either end. I'm going to choose to loosen it on the axle side, so I'm going to take this off here, see if I can't push it up out of the way for me to get these out and put the other bracket on. So got the stock bracket off. I have the track bar hanging from a wire tie from the sway bar, but the stock bracket's off right there. It's got 13 millimeter bolts holding the bracket on, and now we have to do the spacers for the Fox stabilizer to go in here. So the thicker spacer here goes on the bottom. It'll go like this, and then the other stabilizer on top. Then an O-ring, then the stabilizer, and then the other spacer, and then you can bolt it in that way. It should look like whenever you get done putting it all together. Like this. Your adjusting screw towards the front of the vehicle, and then your bracket right there like that. So next issue we're running into is the carriage bolt here that came stock on the 21 Gladiator. I don't know if this is just a Gladiator thing or what, but as you can see here, it doesn't go into that far enough. It won't go down there. So you're gonna need a different bolt, and Fox does not provide this for you. Not gonna work. Not gonna work at all. So what I did was put that in the vise. I ground down the squared off portion, and allows this to fit up in there to about right there. So that way I can put this on. I could have gone to the store and grabbed the carriage bolt, but this needs to be a hardened steel bolt. So you want to make sure that you're using the right thing, and that's just the only way to do it. Fox is going to need to start providing a different bolt to people for this kit for sure. As for the Gladiators, I don't know if it's a Gladiator thing or if it's a 2021 thing, but it wasn't working on mine. Or it could be a Mojave thing, because I do have a Mojave, so we'll see. And there you go. You can see it back there, and it's all the way through. So nothing ever seems to go as planned when you're working on Jeeps, as you guys I'm sure already know. So all right, now what we got to do is put these bolts in. So there's the one bolt's got to go in there, and then the others up top, right up there. All right, and there it is installed. Went on pretty good. Everything's tightened down. The adjustment screw right here is for your tension on your rebound for it, so you can tighten it down. I turned it 5 additional clicks. You can go up to 25 clicks. Now what I'm doing is installing the 3/4 inch Daystar lift on the back. I'm gonna start on the back. Took my pre-measurements. I'll put those on the screen after this, and you can see how it is compared to the after measurements. All right, so I put on the rear 3/4 inch isolators, and that's what it looks like. The fronts, I don't think I'm gonna do. I think that looks pretty good the way it is. It's got just a little bit of rake. The rear didn't do as much for me as I expected it to. Of course, I still need to get a measurement here, but that's what it looks like with the 3/4 inch rear isolator in. I'll show you underneath what it looks like. See that black little space underneath the spring? That's the isolator. It's not a whole lot, to be honest with you. It's not as much as I thought it would be. It doesn't give a whole lot, but I guess if you had some heavy stuff in the back or whatever, you needed a little bit more. I put that heavy tire in the spare tire location, so that kind of made it go down a little bit. But I think that's just about the right amount of rake for me. So I think I'm gonna leave it just as is, and that'll be done. So All right, guys, so the next thing we're doing is these reverse light reflectors from Oracle Lighting. Got a reflector in the red and then a reverse light there in your LEDs. That's what it looks like stock. So first thing you're going to do is take off the tail lights, 8mm socket. Take the tail lights off. They pull straight back this way. They do not pull out to the side this way. They pull straight back towards the back of the vehicle. And then you're going to unplug them right here. Pull them out because you're going to need to access that pin right there. Right there. So you're going to pull that out. And then we're going to come down here underneath the truck and use a 7mm to unscrew those 3 bolts right there. We got one there, one up here behind this, and that's a pain to get to, and then one up here. So take those 3 bolts out with a 7mm. Okay, so once you get all those bolts out, this just comes out like that right there. Super simple. And then in goes the Oracle light one right here. Fill off your plastic. And this goes up in there. And it's recommended to do this top corner first and then slide it up in there around that. It's kind of hard to get it in there. You've got that other little screw piece there that gets in your way right there. So to be honest, I didn't even put this bolt back in whenever I put them on. I just put the bottom bolt and this top bolt up here, and it's being held in place by a pin on this side. So I didn't even put all 3 in because this bolt right here is in your way and you can't get to it unless you take off the top pad of the bumper. So I didn't even put that bolt in. So we'll get these other 2 bolts in, take this wiring harness, slide it right up through there and tap it into the tail light. All right, and that's what it looks like. Brown wire with, or white wire with the brown stripe, black wire with the gray stripe. So on your wiring harness coming from the light, you're gonna have a red and a black. The red goes to the white wire and the black goes to the black wire. All right, so trial and error. The driver's side on the video says black wire with gray stripe to the black wire on the light. Then it says white wire with tan stripe is the power wire. Not on the passenger side. The passenger side is different. Passenger side is the white wire with the purple stripe is the power wire. Your black wire is still over here on the end. Okay, on this end, that pin. And on the opposite pin, opposite side, you have this one here. So you have white with purple stripe. That's your power wire for these reverse lights. So the video is great for the driver's side. Passenger side, the wires have changed. This is a 21 Gladiator, so if you have any issues, try that, see if you can make it work. We're going to install these road shock LEDs. Now, when I had the Jeep JL, I ordered this kit here from Ace Engineering, and it's for the cowl mount that goes right into here, and you mount the light on top of it. Now, with the Mojave, this is higher. This whole cowl piece here in the side of the hood is higher. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this, but we need to get a longer bolt. This right here is the bolt that comes with it. That's for the JL. So let me show you what I got here. I went to the hardware store and I got some other bolts so that we can install these, right? This is what they come with. So this is the stock bolt from the Mojave. This is the bolts that Ace Engineering provides for the JL, and this is a longer bolt for the Mojave cowl. This right here, these 2 bolts are M6. You're gonna need an M6 by 1.0. This longer one here is a 75mm, I think it is. This one here that they provide is quite a bit shorter, and it's not going to work on Mojave. So let's get started with installing it. All right, so we're going to take the stock one out. I'm going to use the back bolt here, and we're going to install the spacers and the longer bolt that I got from the hardware store. So let's take the spacers and the washers out. We won't need that bolt. That's the old bolt. Won't need that. This goes here. This goes on top with the longer bolt. And you're going to need the light mount from, the lights I'm using are the side shooters. They're from Harbor Freight. They're, I think, 40 bucks maybe. But this is going to go on top like that, down through there. Okay, so let's get the washer put on top here. Like that, down through there. And screw these in with the right ratchet. All right, so the right ratchet is going to be a 10 millimeter, of course, right? So we're going to tighten this down. Now, if you notice, whenever as I'm tightening this down, the actual bracket does not make contact with the hood or the cowl area there. You can turn these how you want them, and the light will mount on top just like that. So that's what it's going to look like. You can turn these at an angle like I have here. Once you figure out where you want to place them, crank it down just like that. They're not really going to move. Right there. There you go. That's the Ace Engineering brackets. And we'll get this light mounted on here. Tuck this down into the cowl right there like that.